Hello and welcome to the Key Stage 4 maths lesson, and today we are going to be plotting equations onto graphs. So to start with, I'm going to go through the lesson objectives so that all of you should be able to plot coordinates. Most of you should be able to plot something called linear equations, and by the end of the lesson you should all know what a linear equation is, and some of you will be able to plot quadratic equations. So when we use this in real life, that's for map reading, you'll use your coordinates, and line graphs can be used where you need to convert things such as currency or money if you go on holiday, and measurements. And for your literacy, there are coordinates, generate, linear and plot. So to start with, I want you to have a look at that for me please, and I want you to try and work out the coordinates of all of those letters. So can you name all the different coordinates for those letters? So the first one I've done for you, so it's 2 across and 0 up. So the first number is left or right, and the second number is up or down. So think back to when you've done it in school. The first number is left or right, and the second number is up or down. So just pause the screen and try and work those out please. Okay, well done if you've done that. We're going to go through the answers. So B is 3 minus 2, C is 0 minus 3, D is minus 3, 1, E is minus 2 minus 1, F is minus 1 minus 3, G is minus 1 across and 3 up, H is 1 across and 2 up. So well done if you got all those, so just mark them yourselves, well done. And now we're going to move on to something called plotting linear equations. So to generate coordinates you have to use the table, and we can use any value of x we like, but we have to calculate the y values. So we're going to use that equation, y equals x plus 2, and it's a linear equation because it's not squared, it's not x squared. As soon as you square the x, it becomes a quadratic equation. So there is no squared. And what that means is I draw a table that looks like this. So x at the top and y at the bottom. X is minus 3 all the way up to 3. And using this, we can start to generate the coordinates. So for the first one, minus 3, we need to work out what y is. And we do that by doing minus 3, add 2, which equals minus 1. So you can either start at the 0, where it's easier, or you can start at one end and work your way down. So I've started with minus 3, I'm now going to be able to minus 2. So minus 2, add 2 equals 0. Minus 1 add 2 equals 1, 0 add 2 equals 2, 1 add 3, 1 add 2 equals 3, 2 add 2 equals 4, and 3 add 2 equals 5. So there is the table filled in. So once we've got this table filled in, we can start to pick out the coordinates. So I'm going to start with the 0. So we've got the 0, 2, 0 across, 2 up, 1, 3, 2, 4, 3, 5, and then going down the other way we have those ones. So these are the coordinates that we are going to plot. So there's what you just worked out. There's your coordinates, there's the equation, there's the table. I'm then going to draw myself an XY axis that looks like this. So for all these questions, whether they're linear or quadratic, we'll be using this kind of graph. And then all I'm going to do is plot the coordinates. Minus 3, minus 1, 2, 0, all the way up to 3, 5. And as you can see, it makes a perfect straight line. So that's a check for these questions. If it makes a perfect straight line, you know you got it right. can you pause the screen and try and calculate what y value is for those 7 numbers are, please? So remember, use the x from the top, and I want you to calculate what the y is for the coordinates. Okay, so here's your answers. So well done if you've got them right. I will now want you to draw another graph, and can you please plot those coordinates for me, please? So there's the coordinates. If you didn't work them out, can you plot those coordinates onto an XY graph, please? So pause the screen for 5-10 minutes. Can you draw another graph and plot those ones on there, please? Okay, well done if you've done that. Here are some questions for you to try for yourself. For these ones, you do exactly the same for the red. You've got an example for the orange, and the green one means 2 times x. So for the first one, it would be 2 times -3. Can you plot all of these on the same graph to draw one x-y axis? And can you plot them all on the same axes? But you can use different colours. So put them all on the same graph, just in different colours, and label the lines, please. Just pause the screen, give yourself 15-20 minutes, and can you try and work out the coordinates and plot them? Okay, remember you can send your work into the Edge Academy. It will be marked feedback given and returned. So please, 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 if you've completed the work, can you please send it back in? And now we're going to move on to something called quadratic graphs. So these are something else that you need to know how to plot. And so far you've only done linear graphs, which are the straight line ones. So quadratic graphs are always curved, and they always have an x squared in them. So I did say that earlier, the difference between a linear and a quadratic is the x squared. It sounds complicated, and I promise it's easy. So here's one of the questions. Plot a graph of the equation y equals x squared plus 1. Okay, so we draw another table. This time I put an extra column in, it's got x squared in, so that's from the question, x squared, and then a plus 1 on at the end. So now we're going to go through and fill in the table. So I'm going to fill in the x squared column first, so -3 times -3. And minus times a minus always becomes a positive, so that becomes 9. Do the same for the next one's long. -2 times -2 is 4, 1, 0, 1, 4, and 9. Now you probably see there's a bit of a pattern there. So next we drop down to the bottom level where it's x squared plus 1, and I add the 1 on. Now we have to get our coordinates, which is the x at the top and the very bottom line. So the middle one we don't need anymore. So for the first coordinate would be -3 across and 10 up. Next one -2, 5, -1, 2, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 5, and 3, 10. And if you join all of these up, it makes a curved shape. So as I remember I said, all quadratic graphs have got a curve shape. We label the line, and now I want you to pause the screen and give this one a try, please. So this time I've got an x squared row, and I've also got a 2x row. The bottom row is where I put them both together, so can you pause the screen and give that a try, please? Okay, we'll go through the answers together. So we've got the x squared, which again is 9, 4, 1, 0, 1, 4, and 9. So that's always going to be the same x squared. Next we've got 2 times x. So 2 times -3 becomes -6. -4, -2, 0, 2, 4, and 6. and this is where we now have to put them together. Now remember, we're using the 2 rows above, so it would be 9 add minus 6, and that equals 3. Then it would be 4 add minus 4, which equals 0, minus 1, 0, 3, 8, and 15. So now we've got to the point where we have to plot the points. We use the top x number and the bottom one, so minus 3, 3, and we plot the points. As you can see, it makes another U shape. If it makes a U shape, remember it is correct. So give yourself a tick if you've got that one right. Remember to always label the line so we know what we're working with. And then I want you to pause the screen and I want to give those ones a try, please. So pause the screen. This might take you anything up to half hour, 45 minutes. Can you work out the coordinates and plot the graphs of those quadratic equations, please? So pause the screen and give those a try. Okay, well done if you've done that. Remember to send your work into the Edge Academy, where it will get marked and feedback will be given. So please send your work into the Edge Academy. When we bring out work packs, you can hand it to the teacher that comes out to your house, or you can send it into school, but please return your work. I'm now going to give you one more example, and this time it's y equals 3 take away x squared. So again, I've got an x squared column, so we can fill that one in, 941, 0149. Then I have to do 3 take away x squared. And that's what I'm left with. If I plot those, as you can see, it is still a curved shape, but this time the curve is the other way around. Remember to label your line. So well done if you've calculated this or followed it along. I'm now going to ask you to try these. These are harder equations, but you now have all the skills that you need to answer these. So can you pause the screen and try and work these ones out, please? And remember to send your work into the Edge Academy. Now it's time for the end of the lesson, so where in life might you see curved lines like the ones you've just been drawing? Computer games, Angry Birds, playing golf, and in science, and PE. So these are all quadratic equations, and that's where you've probably seen them in real life. So just to summarise, you've been doing both linear and quadratic equations. Linear graphs will always be straight, that's a check, whereas quadratics will always be a curve, so either an N or a U shape. But that's another check that you can do on your question. So if it's a straight line for a linear question, you know you got it right, or good chance you have. If it's a curved shape for a quadratic, there's also a good chance that you have got the answer correct. So your lesson objectives, all of you should be able to plot coordinates. So if that was in the first question or in the last, you've always been plotting coordinates. Most of you should be able to plot linear equations, that's the straight line ones. And some of you should be able to plot quadratic equations, those are the curved ones that you've just been doing at the end. So well done for doing that. Remember to send your work into the Edge Academy, and I hope to see you all very soon.